Newcastle United versus FC Barcelona, UEFA Champions League Round of 16. You see this particular game, this game is not going to be easy. Yes, the two legs are not going to be easy. Newcastle is going to be hosting Barcelona at home on Tuesday. And after the home game, Barcelona is also going to host Newcastle at home in Camp Nou. And ahead of this game, when you look at the recent forms of the two clubs, you will see a very big difference. I am going to show you guys all of those things in this particular video. And the question now is, can Barcelona walk through Newcastle easily, or can Newcastle walk through Barcelona easily? I am going to answer those questions in this particular video. And also, what is the advantage of Barcelona over Newcastle, and what is the advantage of Newcastle over Barcelona? I am going to give you in this video. Now, let us jump into the video. I am going to start with the recent games of Newcastle before giving you guys anything. When you look at the last 10 games of Newcastle in all competitions, they are going to play a game today against Man City in the FA Cup round of 16. Barcelona is also going to play a game today against Atletico Bilbao, which is going to be a La Liga game. Maybe I may post this video after the games, but I am recording this video before the games. When you take a look at Newcastle in their last 10 games, Newcastle won just 5 of the last 10 games, and they suffered 5 defeats in their last 10 games. So 5 wins for Newcastle in their last 10 games and 5 defeats for Newcastle in their last 10 games. The last defeat that they suffered was against Everton at home in St. James's Park. And the last time Newcastle played Barcelona, Barcelona destroyed them 2-1, which was Barcelona and Newcastle first UEFA Champions League game of the season, where Marcus Rashford scored a brace for Barcelona and was named man of the match at the end of the day. Now, let us look at Barcelona in their last 10 games. When you look at Barcelona in their last 10 games, Barcelona suffered just 2 defeats in the last 10 games and won 8 of their last 10 games. That tells you Barcelona has an upper hand already in terms of their recent games over Newcastle. When you go now to the games between Barcelona and Newcastle, you clearly see that Barcelona have played Newcastle just 5 times. These two clubs have come across each other just 5 times ever since God created heaven and earth. And the only time Newcastle won a game against Barcelona was in 1997. I was not yet born. You were not yet born. So you cannot even deceive me here. So none of us have ever witnessed Newcastle winning a game over Barcelona. And it is shameful. Yes, it is very, very shameful. In 2025, which was earlier this season, Barcelona won Newcastle 2-1. In 2003, some of you guys were not yet born, Barcelona won Newcastle 2-0. In 2002, Barcelona won Newcastle 3-1. In 1997, Barcelona won Newcastle 1-0, and Newcastle won Barcelona 3-2, which is the only victory of Newcastle over Barcelona. And now, what are the chances of Barcelona walking through Newcastle easily, or what are the chances of Newcastle walking through Barcelona easily? When I look at the two teams, I compare the recent performances, I compare the recent statistics, I compare the recent head-to-head, home advantage, away advantage. I tell you guys nothing but the truth. The chances of Barcelona winning and eliminating Newcastle in both legs is higher than the chances of Newcastle winning and eliminating the chances of Newcastle winning and eliminating Barcelona. Why am I saying this? When you look at Newcastle, right, they are just lucky enough that they have many players that are fit and available for this game. When you look at their defense, Dan Burn is currently there, the tallest player in the world right now. I think that guy is close to 2 meters. He's currently available. He played against who did Newcastle play this weekend again? Manchester United. Remember, Newcastle, 10 men Newcastle players destroyed Manchester United of Michael Carrick this week. That's it, just to tell you this game is not going to be easy, and Barcelona needs to be at their maximum best to be able to win the game. Now, when you look at the midfield, there is one player, Tonali. Hey, oh my God! If you have not been watching Newcastle games, go and take a look at the recent statistics of Tonali in Newcastle's recent games, bro. Because when you even take a look at the game of Newcastle against Manchester United, Tonali was a key player of Newcastle in that game. You look at the game between Newcastle and Everton, he was still the key man. In fact, when you look at all Newcastle games this season, he is the one carrying Newcastle, bro. And Barcelona needs to look for a way to stop that guy. For Barcelona to be able to eliminate Newcastle, they have to first of all eliminate that guy from the competition, because if Barcelona happens not to eliminate that guy, they will suffer against Newcastle. Now, when you look at Newcastle, like I said, Dan Burn is there at the level of the defense. Tonali is there at the level of the midfield. When you go now to the level of the attack, Anthony Gordon, you see that particular guy. Anthony Gordon scored a hat-trick, I think a hat-trick against Karabakh in the same Champions League. And the guy is scoring goals back to back. The truth about this guy is that he never misses a penalty. So Barcelona needs to avoid that part of getting a penalty, because if that guy receives 10 penalties, he's going to transform all of those penalties. So Barcelona needs to be careful in this game. And when you look at Barcelona, Jules Koundé is out of this game. Balde is out of this game. Frankie de Jong might also miss this game. Gavi is out of the game. But the players that are available, can they do something? Yes, Lamine Yamal can deliver for Barcelona. Rafinha can decide the game for Barcelona. You know, Rafinha is from the Premier League, so he definitely knows this kind of teams. Newcastle is a tough team. Rashford has played against Newcastle several times, and he's always the champion whenever he plays against Newcastle. So Rashford, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha can decide this game for Barcelona defensively. There is going to be Pedri at the level of the midfield, Marc Bernal, Dani Olmo, Fermin Lopez. These guys are going to help Barcelona at the level of the midfield. Now, the only challenging problem for Barcelona ahead of this game is going to be at the level of the defense. But we have a solid goalkeeper behind Joan Garcia that can save Barcelona in games like this. But Paul Kubasi is in front of him. Alongside Paul Kubasi, Gerard Martins might accompany him, Eric Garcia, and Cancelo. So, with these players available for this game, I am 100% confident Barcelona is going to knock out Newcastle. And Newcastle is going to come into this game with one game plan. You know, Hansi Flick is playing high line. And many coaches know already that if we are going to play against Barcelona, just let one attacker to be free. Just let one attacker which is very, very fast to be free on the wings. Any ball we get, any chance we get, let us drop it behind Barcelona's defense. From there, he can run and score. Do you understand? So, Hansi Flick needs to consider those areas. We are playing against Premier League teams, and these Premier League teams are teams that they might not be keeping the ball position, but they are going to put you under pressure. And to survive under pressure is not easy. Barcelona cannot survive under pressure, so they have to be careful. And also, this particular game is a game must win for Barcelona. Barcelona started off the season very poorly, and now they have just two competitions to compete for: La Liga and the Champions League. And for them to be able to win the Champions League, they have to start by winning this game against Newcastle. Remember, Newcastle is currently out of the Champions League spot in the Premier League, and they are definitely going to give their maximum best to grab the 3 points in this game. But I don't see it happening. Yes, I don't see it happening. When I look at this game as a football fan, not as a Barcelona fan, because if I look at the game like a Barcelona fan, I might be biased. When I look at the game, right, when you look at the two names of the club, Barcelona and Newcastle, Barcelona is favorite to win the game. When you look at the recent games, last 10 games for Newcastle, last 10 games for Barcelona, you compare the two, Barcelona is favorite to win the game. When you look at the last 5 fixtures, which is the only time they have come across each other, Barcelona is favorite to win the game. And now, if Barcelona won Newcastle earlier this season away from home, they can win them again this time around, away from home and even at home. But winning a game at St. James's Park is not going to be easy. Barcelona won a game at St. James's Park already this season against Newcastle, and Barcelona team was not actually the best. Barcelona now is better than the Barcelona that played against Newcastle earlier this season. So I think no matter what happens, Barcelona is winning both home and away. But for them to be able to win both home and away, they have to consider the game as if it is the final game of the season. They have to consider the game as if it is the game that is going to save their season, because if they don't consider the game like that, they will not win the game. So Barcelona needs to be careful in this game, and Hansi Flick needs to play the game with his best tactics, best formations, and able to win the game. And also, the first leg is very, very important. Barcelona should go and get the advantage of this first leg first. They should win Newcastle away from home. So coming back home, we are going to be sure we are going to win them. Look at what happened to us against Atletico Madrid. They won us 4-0 away from home. But when we return home, we won them 3-0, which made no difference. So Hansi Flick should go in that St. James's Park with the mindset of getting a victory first over the first leg. So over the second leg, we're still going to beat them. We are Barcelona, the best club in the world, and we deserve to win the Champions League. It's been long, guys. It's been long that Barcelona won the Champions League, and we really deserve to win one. Yes, Barcelona deserve the Champions League. Guys, I'm going to end the video here. But before I end the video, my prediction is for Barcelona to win Newcastle, both home and away. That is my prediction for Barcelona ahead of this game. Win Newcastle, both home and away. And I think Lamine Yamal is also going to score both home and away. And I'm also counting on Rafinha in this particular game. Guys, what are your predictions for this game between Barcelona and Newcastle? Don't be biased, so keep emotions aside. What are your predictions for this game between Barcelona and Newcastle? And if you're a Barcelona fan, what formation and tactics are you expecting from Hansi Flick on Tuesday against Newcastle? If this is the first time you are coming across the channel, smash a thumb up to the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video to 1 or 2 persons, and see you until my next video.